Alrighty guys, welcome. This is the first episode that we're shooting of Subjective's new media project, our new podcast, Tea.V. It's a show where we get a chance to talk about movies, music, get a bit real with it for uni students and whatnot, whilst drinking tea and coffee.
Or water.
Or water for Mr. Allen. My name's Wes. This is...
Hey, I'm Jack.
Jackson.
James.
Yeah, so we got the J crowd over here. We're doing this more as a chance for us just to talk to you guys, talk about what we love. We're pretty passionate about movies and music. Thought we'd have some fun with this. It's all new for us. So stuff will be changing around a lot. We've been playing with lighting for like the last hour and it's still terrible. So sorry about that.
Give us a break.
Yeah, audio's out of it, but we're learning.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. It's growing.
This is take 4.
Yeah. This is already our 4th crack at shooting this one episode, but we're persistent, so we're not giving up.
What do you do?
Yeah, we're here for you guys.
Anything for you.
Just had to do it to him.
Yeah, we're just 4 guys who live together and think we've got a good voice to share on some interesting topics. We all go to uni and we all live in Brisbane, Australia, so let's see how you guys like this. If there's anything you do like, don't like, any more topics you want us to talk about, let us know, but this is where we'll be starting. We're all been back at uni for 3 weeks now. We're already dead, as I assume most of you who are at uni are kind of feeling.
3 weeks in, 5 weeks behind.
Yeah, like that's the way.
Fuck.
It's a bit like that.
So today's episode is just kind of talking about that. Our movie, what we're doing with the movies today is we'll actually be having a bit of a fight. We're going to try and convince each other why our movie is the best representation of like a coming of age film growing up. Something that's just really inspiring to either where you've been, where you are now. So we're going to try and convince each other that our movie is better than yours. And then we'll wrap that up with a best album to study to recommendation by yours faithfully, the Tea.V Boys. So without further ado, Jack, do you want to take the reins as to why your movie's the best, my man?
So when we're talking about coming of age films, one that immediately stands out for anyone should be Ferris Bueller's Day Off. 1980s classic, made by John Hughes, who has done other films in that genre like 16 Candles and Breakfast Club. So obviously he's got quite a resume for that sort of thing. The reason it stands out is that despite it being like 40 years old, it's just so timeless in its like sort of just its depiction of coming of age, teenage sort of, angst isn't the right word, but just sort of...
Yeah, it's angsty at times.
Belonging and just sort of where you're at in your life and like what to do with your life.
Not knowing what to do with your life.
And yeah, exactly. And it's sort of literal in speaking to the audience because Ferris Bueller is literally talking to you by breaking the fourth wall. So
Not many people did that at the time as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
That's gotta be one of the first movies that like properly broke the fourth wall.
Yeah, and it's
like,
just so... I don't know,
Yeah.
it is directly speaking to you.
It's a hard movie to want to fight because it is one I watched countless
Oh, don't
times
worry.
growing up. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like,
come on.
You gotta fight it. I'll fight you guys.
We just gotta think of ideas to bring each other down. Is the way to do
Sabotage me.
it. Yes.
yeah.
I will.
Just focus on the creepy aspects rather.
That's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
Just
like
Rooney's the whole
yeah,
time.
Rooney.
Matthew Broderick, who
Well,
plays Ferris
there's even
Bueller.
that scene that like when I guess Matthew Broderick picks up his girlfriend and then I guess he poses as the
As the
dad.
dad,
And then
yeah.
he kisses her and
Rooney's just cool with
he
it.
just he's like looking at him. Oh my god.
We can ignore that.
Before we move on, like before we start fighting and arguing, comparing, like you got maybe why, like how did you think it influenced you more personally?
Me, just the fact that I don't know how old I was when I saw it. Most likely beginning of high school, and I sort of just watched it every now and then throughout the next like 5 or so years, and every time it stood out for a different reason. And I think it will still, if I go and watch it today, it will stand out again for another reason. Because you can just see yourself in Ferris Bueller's position and the other character's position. And even though it's the same sort of plot every time you watch it, it's different to you because you're at a different stage in your life. And I think that sort of aspect of not knowing what to do and just growing up in general and sort of the daunting aspect of growing up will always stand out. So yeah, that's why it's the best coming of age film.
Wow, it's gonna be.
Fight me.
That's a tough one to be
Let's
like.
go.
Yeah, all right, you're on. But
Yes.
I guess we're just moving down the table. It seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
You're up.
I contend that, my good sir, with 1994's cult classic hit, Kevin Smith's Clerks.
Mhm.
It is, in my opinion, I don't know if I'd say growing up film, but coming of age. It's so reflective of where I am at the moment, especially with work. All of us work. We all have. We all do long hours, long jobs. It's like, you know, we're in hospitality, like the Woolies squad over
Don't
here.
go
Like
into
it's,
hospitality.
No, I don't.
And it's just it's like the film's whole premise is about the shit that happens to a couple of store clerks on what is supposed to be their day off. It's funny. They're terrible people. So out of the question, like I know they're terrible people, but it's just so accurate of feeling just like you've still got so much ahead of you, but you need to be there at the time because it's how you make your living. It's how you do everything. And it's just like a lot of weird stuff happens to us, I feel like, on a daily basis. Like we
Correct.
have some random and some classic shit that goes down in our lives. And I think looking
Correct.
at that film, I can't help but watch it and fall into it going, man, like I know they've exaggerated the stuff that's happened,
But
but
it rings
it's
true.
so brilliant. And it's such a dialogue heavy driven film. And you can't help but fall for its like charm. It was made on a budget of 30 grand. It's
Can I just interrupt
truly
you?
phenomenal.
As much as I do love and respect the film, I do still have my gripes with it. I do sort of see it being somewhat tricky to get into in the fact that, I guess for me personally, the fact that it was in black and white, although that is a clever style, like, and a clever choice, it didn't initially pull me in. I suppose.
I don't disagree with that, actually, but I feel like if I had to offer maybe a reason they did that, it was because the quality of the cameras they were using weren't that great, and
Probably
it was...
true.
It's actually cheaper to film
It's-
black and white.
And
It's on film.
it helps
Yeah.
you hide from the fact he used the same actors like 4 or 5 times, and I only noticed that on like my 3rd time watching it. Like one of the guys, I think it was Walt from Comic Book Man, is actually in it like
Oh yeah, it's too.
3 times. He's like 3 different actors, and you're like, where's... Yeah, and I think maybe that's a reason. Who knows? But we'll get into the arguing in a sec. Mr. Eye Candy Jackson taking the stand.
So, these guys have all gone for old movies. I've gone for 2014's film Whiplash. So, this is hands down one of my favourite movies of all time. The performances in it, the setting, jazz is what the whole movie is basically about a jazz drummer who just is obsessed with whatever he does, and I think that for me, because of like the coming of age sort of like growing up type aspect of it, it was like seeing this dude who was absolutely nuts sacrifice so much stuff. Like he, you know, sacrifices his relationship and like all of his time. He moves into like the studio. He sacrifices pretty much his body in spoiler alert, the car crash.
It's like 4 years old now.
Yeah,
I think
don't
we're
think
safe.
you've seen that.
No, I haven't seen you wrote it for me.
James hasn't seen it, but
There's a car crash.
there's a car
Yeah.
crash, and like, you know, he drums until his hands are like bleeding and shaking, and then I don't know, it was just such a, it was one of those movies that's really inspirational. And I think that, I mean, J.K. Simmons as well, like he hurls a chair at his head.
He almost makes it for me. Like,
He makes the movie, in my opinion.
What?
Yeah.
It's like,
He held a chair at his head.
yeah, you gotta watch the movie.
It's like, it's actually so
you
like...
actually have to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's real. Like,
I've
I
got
just
it.
think that it was such a thing for me where I was just like, oh, well, if you want to be good at anything, like just in general, uni, work, whatever, you just got to sacrifice stuff. And that was such a, even though it was on a very high level with a guy who was obsessed, it was such a, sort of an eye-opener, I guess. But,
How many times have you seen it?
about 5.
Yeah, I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
I've seen it
6.
once.
I've seen it
I've
maybe
watched it a
twice.
lot of times, and just each time I watch it, like I just love it. The jazz whole side of
Yeah.
it,
Ooh,
I
yeah.
love
That's
That's what I
jazz.
love most
Like,
about it, really.
yeah, like it's pretty much the movie that got me into jazz music,
Yep.
and it's set in New York.
That's a really
And New
good
York's
coming of age
awesome.
film actually, because it's so metaphorical of like
Yeah,
the
well,
process.
you see
yeah.
him like,
Just-
he gets with this chick, Melissa Benoist, who plays Supergirl.
I didn't know she was in. I
Yeah.
forgot. It's been that long since I've
Yeah.
seen
I
that.
didn't know
Yeah.
that.
And then yeah, he just like, he gets to a point. He's like, "Oh no, I'm like dumping you because you're gonna
Because
get
of
in
the
the way
drumming,
of
that's
my
right, at the diner or
career."
something,
Yeah,
wasn't
and
it?
then she
Yeah.
like, he's like, "You're insane," and he just doesn't care. And then
So I like
I
how it
think-
sort of just
Yeah.
depicts that you
Yeah.
have to compromise to do what you want to do.
I think that J.K. Simmons is a really good sort of representation of, you're gonna have assholes who are just like,
Battering you down.
In your
Yeah.
way. They're in your way.
they're in your way, but like at the same time, it's gonna help you, and it helped him. No matter
did.
how much J.K. Simmons hurled a chair at his head, or like screamed at him, or wasn't impressed with him,
Well,
or whatever,
there
it
was
was
the
all
ending of mutual
because
respect. Which
yeah,
was,
like
yeah.
it made him better. No one gets anywhere by, you know, getting praise all the time. I think that was like a good move for me. But alright, like this is how you.
Alright, sorry about that. We're back again. We don't know what happened. Our cameras keep mucking up. We spent like so much money on a really nice mic and we still don't know why it won't connect. So there's a lot of little bits and pieces.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there. But to kick it back
Anyway.
off,
Technical difficulty.
segue back in. Sorry, you're going to have a quick little edit on the screen and whatnot, and the audio may jump a little. But
There'll be a nice little intermission thing I'll put in there.
yeah, like we'll do a little
I
like.
hope you guys enjoyed that intermission.
Yeah. We'll use it probably as like a shameless excuse for like the classic like sub and comment like.
Not even that. There'll be a nice little intermission.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it now that you're watching it.
To jump straight back into it, also in Whiplash, just to finish that off, like even though I know I have to fight this movie in a sec, J.K. Simmons, like props to the man. I thought he was literally just like Spider-Man's like J. Jonah Jameson, sort of like an actor.
Yeah.
Then he comes on screen like all shaved head.
Yeah.
He's like,
Bud Monty.
yeah,
He
Timmy on the
was-
Badman.
He was well, he won the Oscar for supporting actor,
Yeah, he did too.
which was
I forgot.
well deserved, obviously.
Yeah, well
but
deserved.
yeah, he was. I mean, every scene he's in, it's. I don't want to go to that level because he's not at that level, but it was almost like a toned down version of Heath Ledger's Joker in terms of every scene he's in.
That's a big statement.
That's where all the attention is.
It's true
Because
though, yeah.
you gotta watch it, bro, because it is like,
It's captivating.
when he gets into a room, his character, it's like, holy shit, this guy is.
Takes your breath away.
Oh yeah, he's incredible.
We're supposed to fight this now?
Yeah,
I hate you.
I know. It's a good movie.
I hate you.
Really good movie.
Hate you.
James,
Yeah,
what we got?
my man, our bit of
Hanez.
our oddball.
Well, I guess, you know, we've all talked about, except for Jackson, cult classic films. I think this is the king. This is the true winner. And this is a film that it's one of Steven Spielberg's classics, and
The goat.
it's the piece de resistance, whatever, you know what I mean.
Peace de Resistance.
I'm talking
That's
of
a
which
conversation
is
for another
the
day.
classic 1985 film Back to the Future. We all know it. We've all heard of it. I'm hoping we've all seen it.
Many times.
So, just to give a quick recap, it stars Michael J. Fox, a young Michael J. Fox, who basically travels back in time to, I guess,
help his parents.
help
have
his parents
him
getting back together and
conceive
making
him.
sure
Yeah.
he's born, because I don't know, like
It was a plot line that was really unexplored at the time,
Yeah.
though. So yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
And what relates to the coming of age for you?
Yeah.
Or I'll come of age. I mean, it's made in the 80s, and 80s culture, 80s fashion, 80s music, that really does resonate within me. I do respect it very much.
You guys will grow to learn exactly who my friend over here is and how he acts, dresses, behaves, and I can see why the film is
You
rubbed
can see
off
the
on it.
influence.
Pretty
Yeah.
much the epitome of the 80s sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
I'm even wearing parachute pants. Like,
You're about
I mean, the film itself, he's very he's sort of someone you want to strive to be, like Marty McFly. Like the name itself, McFly. It's a cool name.
I hadn't even thought about that. Hey, but yeah, that's
He wants to be this kind of rock star, like that, that stereotypical dream as a kid, and the first time I did see it was as a kid, so
and he is the underdog, which is a good. I'm a sucker for an underdog story, so it's nice to follow like someone who's just trying to prove to the world who he is.
The only thing I don't like, sorry to interrupt, in terms of fighting for best coming of age, is that I don't see myself as Marty.
Yeah, me neither. I don't.
Well, I don't have a relationship with like a 70-year-old man.
Whereas the other three protagonists,
I think, but it's
I
like
can
at
see
different
myself.
ages.
No,
like
I get it, yeah.
if you go, like you're totally right in your film how during high school years you're not sure what to do.
Yeah.
I think when you're much younger in primary, you just have these ridiculous.
I guess it is
dreams,
sort of
like,
finding your
what you want to
identity,
do.
yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a rock star.
Yeah.
It's
No,
more,
I get that.
I guess, inspirational than like literally seeing yourself in his shoes. Because no one's like, yeah, there's DeLoreans still around, and I'm hanging out with this crazy scientist, and I'm gonna go back in time and try and get my parents to have sex.
It can
like,
be it can be disconnecting as
it's
like
not a dream I've had.
as a young Australian though.
It's not exactly
Yeah,
what
I
I've
don't
been
like it.
thinking about.
It on a much more sober note. It can be it can be disconnecting as disconnecting as a young Australian viewer trying to watch this film, and like it's so heavily influenced by like American culture and daily life that as like our school system is so different. Like it's not even on the same chart that like when you watch it you're like sometimes like I just can't click with it.
Look, I mean,
in the same way. That was another slight problem I had with Bueller, which even though I love that movie,
fair
it was
enough,
like
fair enough.
I couldn't gel with it more because I kept watching it, even though I did gel with it, just total lie. But like, you'd watch it for the sake of the argument, you'd watch it and you'd just like, it would always pull you out of it because you just keep finding that the everyday situations weren't applicable in the same way. Just even that sense of freedom, the bailing on school in Australia, it's hard. You can't just do that. Like, you know, you stand out like a sore thumb. Like it's.
So what are we voting for?
Look, I mean, I'll just say one last comment about this film. The reason why it deserves the crown, the reason why it's the best film, it just has moments everywhere of pop culture. You know, you got the DeLorean, you've got just Marty McFly and his outfit. Like, I've been wearing for Halloween his outfit consecutively for about maybe 3 years now, and I'm probably gonna do it for a fourth.
Yes.
Like the scenes like at the end where he's playing Johnny Be Good, and then there's his cousin on the phone that's been referenced in just other TVs.
It's your cousin Marvin.
Exactly. I think it's inspired other filmmakers and just I suppose anyone in the film industry.
I agree with you on every single one of those. However, I just don't think that's not coming of age though for me. Like if I was to say like, why did that influence me? The pop culture didn't. That's why Clerks got me. It was the story. It was the heart. It was the simplicity. It was like, yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes we're shit people and we're stuck in like crap jobs, but like, man, some weird stuff can happen to us. And you're sitting there watching and you're like, it's all just a roller coaster that we're in for. And maybe you try and make the most of that everyday situation and just fall in love with the people you interact with. I think that's a really simple, clean-cut, stupid message. I mean, we all live with each other and we all get over each other, but like, it's something that we do and it's like, man, every day something weird and wonderful happens.
The interesting thing, like, if I mean, to make it more relatable, you could say, like, you write your own future, you write your destiny.
Like, how you fighting hard for this? It's
I
like, he's not going down without a fight.
What are we voting for, boys?
Oh, does Mr.
Sorry,
Connie want
you
one
need
more
some more
chance?
I want to make.
You want to slam someone?
Another-
You haven't RKO'd anyone.
So I get to slam all you guys.
Yeah.
Well, I can't
Go on,
slam
go for
Clerks
it.
because I haven't seen it, but like, I know Kevin Smith's kind of style, and look,
It's weird.
The black and white movie thing just doesn't really. I don't know.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it in
Breaking
some
my heart, boys.
instances. No, I
It
like
was
it in
cheap, that's
some
why he did
instances.
it.
Yeah.
He
I
had
get
no
that because
money.
it was a lot, you know. it just, I don't, like James said, it's kind of harder to be like, yeah, this is...
It does take you out of it.
Yeah, it is a bit more like, oh, this is more of an artistic endeavour than like a real...
It'd be a really boring movie though without
I
it.
think
Yeah,
other
I bet.
movies like
What if I put
Again,
this episode in black and white?
Again,
Yeah, like that's
Yeah,
it just slowly gets more
you
grayscale.
just turn it as soon as I say that to like, no, I haven't seen Clerks, so I can't rip it down. Ferris Bueller, I think it's obviously good, but I just think it's a bit outrageous sort of thing, and obviously you know, it's an exaggeration and stuff, but I don't have a friend who owns a Ferrari. I don't think any of us do. Like, you do?
Not Ferrari.
Okay, well they...
The Astra.
No, but
It's yeah.
I like it a lot, but yeah, like
it's
it's similar to what Wes said with these guys' movies, Ferris Bueller and Back to the Future. It is very Americanized, and you know, as a young lad, as a young Aussie,
Nothing against anyone if one day this is viewed by American audiences.
yeah,
though.
but like
We
as
love you.
Aussies, we
Thanks for
don't
watching.
have similar culture. Obviously, the culture.
I'm not Aussie.
But
I can get away with
Yeah.
I think Whiplash, because even though it is set in America, yeah, alright. Even though it is set in America, Whiplash, it is a smaller scale. And I want to make one last point. And there's a scene in the movie that kind of was really, it's subtle, but it's really interesting. And that's the scene with his parents and their family friends at the dinner. And like he's talking about his drumming, which is like a big interest, and he's doing really well or whatever, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. And then their family friends kids all come in, so like, and they're big football players or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, tell him about your touchdowns and everything, and they make such a big deal about these other guys'
Wow, I
because
forgot
they're
about
more
that
right.
scene.
Like
Wow.
and then he just feels so like, well, I'm at like the best school in the world, and these guys are playing just like Division
School.
3 or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're getting treated like they're achieving more, and I think that was really cool
Yeah,
to
people
see
don't
that.
have any time for creative
No
outlets,
matter,
no.
yeah, because it was sort of like, oh,
It's not traditional.
they're a guy, yeah, like your interests might not be as popular as others, and it gets treated like as like a less than sort of achievement, even though you might be doing better than someone in, say, like for us it's rugby pretty much. Yeah, you know, you can get guys in like rugby in Div 3, and then you could be like Div 1 at a like photography thing or whatever, and you're going to get treated like they're better than you. And that scene kind of was like, oh, like he
That's fair.
kind of just stuck to his guns, and I thought that was really cool. Like
Everyone
I
can
don't
resonate with that. So
yeah, like that scene kind of just, I'm thinking about it, sticks out to me now, and
No,
it's
I like
such a
that.
small thing, but and he just loses his like sort of nut about it because he's so obsessed and so just like, why am I getting treated
I
like
hate you. You've got my vote.
Yeah.
I hate you. You've done it. All right, you've done it. It's fine. I
that's
understand
my
that.
last
Fuck it.
point.
Alright, so should I start with my vote?
Yeah.
Yes, and you can't vote for your own movie.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Is the deal.
We're gonna start getting like a panel or like a way to judge
Yeah,
this
we'll
better.
try and just bring in some of our friends and stuff.
But for now,
to
it's
be
a
the
convince each
deciding
other
vote,
scenario.
but yeah.
And you guys can tell us who you want to vote for it.
Yeah.
It's in the comments below.
Plug.
So unfortunately, I sort of knew my vote, like straight away, despite anyone else's arguments, and it's gonna go to Whiplash. 'Cause I love Whiplash.
Woo!
I can see myself in Whiplash, and even if you didn't hear Jackson's excellent argument, I would still vote for it. So yeah, that's my vote.
Thank you very much.
Wes.
Yeah, he won for me as well. Look, I think his points. I was swinging to Jack on because I do like the idea of like through high school the thought of like not knowing where you're going, the directional
Yeah.
choice, being around, just the idea of escaping and looking for just to find and ground yourself. However, you really got me on that last argument. I wasn't going to vote for you. And then you like
Good, eh?
snuck in with
1-2 punch.
Yeah.
snuck in with the classic like people around you sometimes, like there have been times where I think we've all been told like don't do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like you've been pushed to go where your parents are going, like make
Or what
smarter
other people,
choices.
yeah.
Like even with me, it was like I got pushed, don't move out of home a few times because why would you do that when you can stay at home? Like don't take risks. And
It's people
Yeah.
tell you what they want you to do, sort of thing. I think that's-
yeah, well done, good argument.
Thank you very much.
That was below the belt.
Yeah,
Not
it
very
was
good,
a
actually.
cheeky.
Yeah.
Right,
What do we
my vote, it's gonna be Ferris Bueller. Like I would vote for Whiplash, but I but I think Bueller's the one that comes in next. I mean, it's an iconic movie. The backyard scene just
Even though
makes
this
that whole
should be
movie.
based off arguments, but yeah.
I did like Jack's arguments as to like
They were
not,
clean.
the not knowing what to do thing
Yeah.
is a big thing that everyone goes through of just like, what am I doing?
Especially
But-
even during. Alright, we back again. Hopefully Jack did some funky stuff with that. Maybe we filmed something.
be
Maybe
good.
we didn't. Maybe it was a gross edit.
Now we're against the clock.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, so
Again, we're
Speed-
sorry.
speed.
The world's trying to tell us, get off the
Yeah.
table.
anyway,
Go.
we'll get back to it.
Jackson voted
I was
for Ferris
voting,
Bueller.
so I'm voting for Jack's movie Ferris Bueller, mainly for the point that not knowing what to do, the main argument, the backyard scene, just everything about that movie is iconic, and it's sort of just like that.
It's
It's what you dream of doing, of just being like, oh, I'm not going to go to school, I'm going to go have like a crazy adventure
Yeah.
with some of my friends
and
sort
find
of,
yourself.
yeah, exactly. Like he pretty much, he goes from just being like a normal, well, not normal, Ferris Bueller's not normal, but he goes from being like in
He
the
is not
routine
normal,
to
yeah.
just sort of expressing himself in a massive parade and stuff. I don't know. It's just, you made some good points, and that's my
Well
vote.
won.
It was a very,
So it's 2-1.
Right.
James, what's your
2-1.
vote?
I like that I'm the last one because in some ways I have to decide it, but my
We have
vote,
not thought of a tiebreaker either. Sorry, guys.
My
Like,
vote's gonna create some controversy here because I'm voting for Jack. I'm voting for Ferris Bueller's Day Off for many of the reasons that Jackson chose the movie. It is very relatable in the sense that what are you going to do after high school? You know, schooling in itself is a very well structured system. You don't really need to worry about it. Like everything's sorted for you. By the end
When
of
you
that,
look past that,
then-
it's sort of like,
by the end of
way
that,
out.
then what? What do you do? You know, do you work? Do you continue studying? And so that's very well addressed in this film.
sorry again for like that 11th time. We're so sorry.
but
Back.
not really.
Other camera died. We switched them on.
it's a tie.
It's a tie. It's a tie, which means, ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry, but up to you guys. Let us know how you want us to settle the tiebreaker. Do we have to have a off-screen competition? Do we have to film, Jack and Jackson mud wrestling?
Literally fighting.
Literally, they will do it. We'll do anything.
I will fight Jack with a whip, and he will fight me with
A Ferrari.
a Ferrari. And that's how we'll decide this.
Go fund me,
Go find me, get a Ferrari.
please.
Just for a day.
100 thumbs up if he'll do it shirtless in the fight. 100 thumbs down, he'll do it shirtless.
That's fair.
All right, so
they're both good movies.
exactly.
Yeah,
Everyone's a winner.
Not me.
except for
Yeah,
these
except for these
two,
two.
because they didn't get a vote. But, at the end of the
Represent.
day, yeah,
Thanks,
don't.
man.
Don't vote for him.
So to wrap it up, we're thinking, because we're back to uni, what do we study to music wise? I know we all love music.
Yeah.
And some albums are obviously better than others to study to. I think for me personally, I need like more of a low tempo. And where I'm getting to is I study to jazz music a lot. So I listen to heaps of other genres, and I never find myself listening to jazz, except for where I'm studying. So a specific album that I'm really into, and this is such just a very basic entry level jazz album that some of you guys probably roll your eyes at, but that's alright.
And if you don't listen to jazz, take a dive. It's
fun.
good. It's very underappreciated.
Whiplash thing.
Go listen
Is
to
it?
Blue and Green, Miles Davis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Very good.
Yeah,
Like
he's sort of
Mr.
just like
Miles.
the man. So
Yeah.
give that a go. What do we think it is?
Well, actually, I'm not too far left of pace from you. Actually, on that one, it was nominated in 2011. I think inducted into the Hall of Fame for music. I'm representing Chet Baker Sings, which is just him. Rather than playing instrumental, he's actually taken the vocal lead on this one. It's mellow, it's soft, you can really zone out to it, get a bit funky,
Good
get a bit
stuff.
creative with it, and it's just gorgeous. So, again, sorry, a really corny old classic that's just, again,
Jazz is the key.
Yes.
listen to it, like it takes you to another place.
Whiplash.
plug.
It's a movie about jazz. Alright, am I go?
Yeah, man.
Alright, so kind of was tossing up, but I haven't really been listening to it recently, but it's kind of one of my all-time favourites to study to is the album For Emma Forever Ago by Bon Iver. It's their first album.
Yeah.
It's only got like, I don't know, 7 songs or something,
Oh,
but
it's great.
it's really just low-key, good to listen to, sort of late night.
Introspective.
Yeah, it's quiet, it's just acoustic, it's just mainly them singing. It kind of helps me just focus in a bit more because it's not too distracting like a big, pump up beat or anything. And
Yep.
yeah, I mean,
Albums are so underappreciated.
it's a good album just in general, and to study to it's great too. Like,
Lets your mind wander.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, like Flume, Skinny Love, Lump Sum, The Wolves Blind, like there's so many good
Yeah,
songs
no,
on it.
good album. Good album.
I really like it, yeah. I would recommend that.
Alright, my lovely.
This is a very tough question for me. I suppose music to study to. I would pick very similar to Jack, something with a jazz influence and hip hop. So for me, I've picked an artist. He's probably not very well known. His name is Nujabes, who is a Japanese Eastern hip hop producer. He did work for an anime known as Samurai Champloo. I highly recommend checking that out. It's largely just instrumental based, and
It's very beautiful though.
it's very beautiful. And I've even made
Good album.
a mix based on sort of Eastern hip hop and just jazz.
This boy is actually a really good,
Where'd you do
music mixer, DJ.
On
Like
the decks.
he just keeps our Thursday night, uni nights pumping.
Once we get, maybe the mixes uploaded, we'll put a link and stuff so people can have a listen, check it out.
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
like it,
if
yeah.
you want to upload
There
it.
is one that I have made which is it's sort of Eastern hip hop, and I'm very happy with how it came out. But the album itself, I'm pretty sure it's called Spiritual State.
Good
I
choice.
don't know, I'll try and get
we'll
these guys to
link
link it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll link all our music and
Really
movies
nice
that we're
little
talking about.
photos,
Maybe some
photos.
like funky edits with it. But
Good
unfortunately,
choices, guys.
yeah, great choices. And I think that's a good place to wrap it up. We've talked a fair amount longer than we thought we
If
would.
you've lasted this long, well done.
Thank
I
you.
don't know how you could listen to us for this long.
Uh,
Congrats.
Let us
Probably not
know
watching right now.
I saw
why you enjoyed, why you didn't enjoy it. Sorry about all the edits and the cuts. We did podcasting, we thought, before we started our other project, because it would be the least amount of work, I think, fair to say.
Well,
And
we
it's-
thought the camera would just be able to record for longer
Just
than
blame me.
12 minutes, but
Blame me. All good.
But yeah, so on that note, we haven't really thought of an outro phrase just yet, but I'm going to give Jackson the right to sing us out.
Get your tea bags and steep them hot. See you later.
Bye.
Yeah.